On this episode of the Hoops FERRO podcast, Damian Lillard has finally been traded to an Eastern Conference team. It's not the Miami Heat. It's not the Toronto Raptors nor the Chicago Bulls. Dame's a Milwaukee Buck. A blockbuster deal in the NBA sees Jrue Holiday and DeAndre Ayton traded Damian Lillard to the Bucks. All that and a lot of more on the Hoops FERRO podcast. Y'all know y'all got to stay tuned to this one.
I want to salute you, homie, for building your own thing and doing your own thing.
Why build theirs when I believe I can build my own?
You've already done it, or I wouldn't be here.
I'm already the only elite sports and music journalist in the game today. My goal is simple, to be the best there's ever been. So, please don't go. Make sure you subscribe and follow the journey. It truly means everything to me. I tell stories. I talk music. I cover sports. I am culture. I am FERRO.
Conservative, of course, with his minutes. Dame outside. No one open. Time running down. 11 on the shot clock. Drills a three.
A blockbuster trade out of the NBA sees the Milwaukee Bucks move off of Jrue Holiday in favor of bringing in Damian Lillard to pair with Greek freak Giannis and Chris Middleton. Oh, man. The Portland Trailblazers are receiving Jrue Holiday, DeAndre Ayton from the Suns, Toumani Camara, a 2029 first-round pick, and 2 pick swaps as Phoenix, who kind of sneaks into this deal, moves off of DeAndre Ayton in favor of acquiring Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and my Vol for life, Keon Johnson. Oh, man. Woo! A blockbuster of a trade right before the season gets going. Damian Lillard's not a Miami Heat after all that offseason commotion. Dame finally gets what he wants, kinda. He gets traded to a perennial Eastern Conference contender. It's just the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is absolutely crazy. All right, I'm going to give y'all my thoughts on the trade quickly here. I think I'm going to do a whole entire podcast next, so you want to make sure you subscribe to the channel for more. My first thoughts on the deal is that Milwaukee clearly is letting you know that they're fully committed to Giannis. This is a we're fully committed to Giannis type of move. The only thing is I don't like Jrue Holiday being thrown in this trade as if he's just a guy. Like, Jrue Holiday was 1B in Milwaukee last year. Clearly 1B with the injuries that Chris Middleton was dealing with. And, heck, Giannis had injuries in the playoffs. The one consistent was Jrue. And he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. Let's keep in mind there have been rumblings, and Drew's Flatfoot said that his plan is to retire after his contract is up. I don't know how much that factored in, but if you're holding that man to his word, it appears that Jrue Holiday is now on the move, not once, maybe even twice. Woj is reporting that the Portland Trailblazers have plans on moving off of Jrue momentarily here. Obviously, I'll give you guys an update on that one. That's wild. If the Bucks decide to move off of Jrue and then the Blazers decide to move off Jrue, who's going to land Jrue Holiday, arguably the best guard defender in the league, to me, a top 8 point guard in the NBA. That is wild, and you're going to want to follow that. Obviously, the Bucks, though, getting Dame, to me, puts them right there at the top of the Eastern Conference again. I still believe Chris Middleton's knee matters a lot, but even if Chris is not 100%, some of the struggles that the Milwaukee Bucks had late in games when Giannis can't get you a bucket are just not going to happen. Dame Dollar is going to score. Now, how long will Dame be happy in Milwaukee when we know he wanted to get to Miami? I don't know if Dame signed off on this trade. He didn't have to for Portland to pull it off, their GM Joe Cronin. My guess is he's good with it, at least for now. As we know, Giannis is a guy that, got a couple years left on his deal and then a player option on the year after. The Bucks want to keep Giannis, and this is a move to make Giannis happy. Like Giannis picked Dame in the draft when he was the captain, right? Like, there's love there. There's admiration and respect there. And this is one of the biggest dynamic duos we've had in the NBA in quite some time. To me, if I'm looking at the Eastern Conference quickly here, Giannis and Dame, they're still better than Tatum and Brown. Giannis and Dame's better than Harden and Embiid. We don't know how long that's going to be together. To me, Giannis and Dame's better than Butler and Bam. That dynamic duo, even if Chris never returns to his old self, that dynamic duo alone is getting Milwaukee back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Look, the Bucks needed a guy that could go out and get you 30. Jrue Holiday could get you 25 a night. Dame can get you 30 a night. Hell of a move, hell of a risk by the Milwaukee Bucks. And from the Phoenix Suns perspective, they kind of snuck into this trade. Y'all saw my little snuck into this trade dance? Y'all like that? All right, anywho. They move off of DeAndre Ayton. We called this a month ago. Look, the new owner in Phoenix he's running his franchise like NBA 2K. And obviously, when he brought in Kevin Durant and when he brought in Bradley Beal, you knew there was just a matter of time for Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. I'm not surprised one bit that they moved off CP3. My only thing is moving off of DeAndre Ayton in favor of Yusuf Nurkic is an interesting move to me, at least. That's an interesting move for the Phoenix Suns. I thought Ayton would have been a nice mesh, but clearly the Suns are saying Ayton not good enough on defense. He's not committed enough to the team. They go get a guy, Yusuf Nurkic, who ain't going to demand the basketball 15, 20 times a game. Hey, he's just going to be happy to be in the building with Phoenix that's restructured the heck out of their roster this offseason. From the Portland Trailblazers perspective, I just want to say this really quickly. If they decide to move off of Jrue Holiday, I don't think that would be the right move. I would love to have Jrue around Scoot. I see a little bit of Scoot hit the way he moves on the defensive end of the court. It reminds me of Jrue. Obviously, Drew's just an exceptional defender. I would like to keep him around, but obviously I know you're already paying Anthony Simons and you want to see what the heck you got in Shaedon Sharpe. I don't know. I don't know if Portland got max value in this trade if they're planning on moving off of Jrue Holiday. How can you say you got max value for Dame? Like, I'm still trying to figure out in my mind if getting DeAndre Ayton, a first-round pick, and Toumani Camara and whatever you get for Jrue Holiday if you decide to trade him, is that better than Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, the pieces that Miami could have gave you, and maybe even a third team? I don't know if that's better. But you get off Yusuf Nurkic's contract, you move off of Damian Lillard, and obviously we are full-fledged rebuild now in Portland. Let me know your thoughts on this blockbuster of a move. Y'all know we're going to be talking about this all freaking week. Y'all let me know what your thoughts are on this trade, man. Huge trade. Dame finally gets moved, not to Miami, but to Milwaukee.
Richardson. Paul George just picked his pocket.
That's offensive foul.
No call, and then he scores.
He used that
Lead the league in. But Clippers have been averaging 16.8. Paul George gives them the lead with the three.
Paul George just made an emphatic statement as we get closer and closer to the 2023-24 NBA season. PG-13 was the latest athlete to cover the Slam magazine. By the way, happy to see Slam still around. PG-13 said he's going to be on his bully again next year. He said it was just a lot of unnecessary talk going around the NBA of guys feeling themselves and directing comments towards me that haven't done anything. I'm going right at whoever I got to go at. You are going to feel me. I'm having that approach every time I'm on the floor. I'm going to dominate and destroy you, says Paul George of the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm sorry, y'all. And look, I love watching Paul George play basketball. The problem is I feel like every year I get 10 games less of Paul George playing basketball. Look, I'm not one of these guys that lives life believing in jinxes and hoaxes, and I'm really not that big on most conspiracy theories out there. I just believe life is about hard work, opportunities, and sometimes a little bit of luck. But I would be lying to you if I didn't think there's something to these Clipper jinx theories out there. I'm sorry, man, because PG-13, don't get me wrong, he had injuries in the past with his tenures in Indiana and OKC, but usually they were kind of like all or nothing. I know he had that nagging injury in OKC with the shoulder, right? But that was the year that he pretty much was in the MVP conversation, if I'm not mistaken. Like, Paul George has had major injuries. Obviously, we remember the fall when he was a Pacer, that ugly fall on the fast break. But, I mean, more times than not, this was a dude that was going out there 65 games a year, somewhere around that. Said what? Some 70 games a year. I mean, we're at the point now where Paul George and Kawhi pretty much tit for tat. What are they at, like 45, 50 games a year right now with the Clippers? And like I always say, the thing that really frustrates me with Kawhi and PG and how they do it, it ain't like they put together 15, 20 games of good health to kick the season off. Then they get hurt. And then it's like, okay, they play another 15, 20 games. Then they get hurt. They do it nastily. They start the season off hurt more times than not, right? Then they come into the season, and when they finally make their debut, then they miss another few games. Then it's like throughout the season, it's just play a couple games, miss 3 games. As a fan, you really can't plan to travel around seeing the Clippers. You really can't do that. And like I mentioned to you guys in the previous segment, fans traveling to LA to see the Clippers, a big tourism city, is going to be pivotal to the Los Angeles Clippers' success as their owner, Steve Ballmer, creates a new arena that's coming in a couple years' time here. So PG, to me, trying to sell me on being a bully after all the games he's missed is comical, if we're being honest. And the fact that he's been going around with a podcast pretty much interviewing every wing star not named LeBron and Kevin Durant there is this summer. It's like, what? Out of all summers, the year that you have a successful podcast, by the way, y'all know I'm not into athlete or rapper podcasts like that. I don't like them because I feel like people are softballing people on questions. Me as a longtime journalist, I just don't like it. I like pure journalism. That's what I love. That's what I grew up on. That's my itch. Seeing athletes and rappers lowball people in questions, it bothers me. But I will admit to you, PG actually got one of the podcasts from an athlete that I like. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think he's actually really good at it, and I think he does have some post-career opportunity in the space. He's actually really good at it. He's got some good guests on. Paul George is a star enough, by the way, to get those guys on. After you interviewed pretty much everybody in the league, now you're trying to tell me you own your bully because you heard things? Obviously, I'm sure it's plausible, the fact that he was talking to a lot of stars and a lot of NBA players this offseason to try to get them on the pod. Maybe he did hear some things. But trying to sell me on you being the guy that's disrespected by comments other NBA players that made after you literally turned into Oprah this summer? Come on, Paul George. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's ridiculous, don't you think? Just a tad bit ridiculous, don't you think, PG-13? And I like your game. And also, Paul George trying to sell us on him being the guy that feels disrespected when literally, if you talk about athletes that get the most love, and more importantly, their games get the most love, there's not too many guys out there that young players today say they want to emulate more than Paul George. They love his game. They give him his credence and his respect. Oftentimes, to me, I think they give him a little too much. He's in the greatest hoopers conversation going right now. I'm not talking about NBA players, but the NBA players got a list of hoopers. This is like that Jamal Crawford type list. Obviously, PG is better than Jamal Crawford ever was, but y'all get what I'm saying. On that hoopers list, PG is up there because everybody believes that he has no weaknesses in his game offensively. I tend to agree. It is phenomenal to watch. I just want to watch it more. I just heard Brandon Miller, the young Charlotte Hornets protege, say Paul George was his GOAT. Now he's getting disrespected. I don't believe that. No, I don't. I believe he's getting shown a lot of love, and we're looking at how disappointing this Los Angeles Clippers run has been, all things considered. Y'all let me know, do y'all believe Paul George will be back on his bully next season?
4, Jabari Parker. Walked. Get out! Richards to Miles. What do you got? Yes!
Well, the former number 2 overall pick, Jabari Parker, recently made some comments to Eurohoops.net that pretty much kind of downplays his time in the NBA. Let's keep in mind, Jabari averaged 14.1 points a game, 5.5 rebounds. Problem is he only played in 310 games in his 8 seasons in the league. He played on 6 different NBA franchises, and just coming into the NBA, he was the ACC Freshman of the Year, a consensus All-American. The expectations were more for Jabari, but unfortunately knee injuries had their way with his career. Jabari said, I just want to be a part of something legitimate. I want to be a part of something where every game matters. Sadly, the NBA is a business, and there are 10 to 12 teams that try to win every game, and the other half try to get a draft pick. Where does that leave good players? You have to either be super good or super bad to lose games. It's no excuse to see DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard, or John Wall, guys who are potentially going into the Hall of Fame, seeing those guys not have a job, we are seeing the league get watered down, unfortunately. Again, those are the comments that Jabari said to Eurohoops.net. I did not see this entire interview. I would like to watch the rest of it. I'm going to try to find it. I had a hard time finding the rest of it. I just seen this quote floating around everywhere. Look, Jabari's telling the truth about the NBA lacking some competitive energy. The problem is we don't want to hear it from him. He's only saying these comments because he no longer has opportunity in the NBA. I'm going to try to keep this platform PG-13, no pun intended, but y'all know what this is, right? This is when the dude moves on from the chick, say he's good on her, and then she comes around and tries to let everybody know on Facebook, on Twitter, on the gram, that your package was small. I don't care. I done already moved on. I don't care what you think about me. I didn't got what I wanted out of the deal. I'm good, boo-boo. Say what you want about me. I'm on the better things. Say it's small all you want. It wasn't too small when I had you. I ain't never hear you say that when I had you. That's exactly what this is. That's exactly what this is. Jabari, come on now. You crapping on the NBA because you no longer have opportunity. And the NBA was willing to give you ample opportunity. When out the gate, it seemed like you were off to a disappointing start to your career. Look, I like Jabari. I thought he was going to be a star. I think I compared him like Carmelo Anthony out the gate. It's just unfortunate how things played out for him. His knees wouldn't hang. And when we bring up guys like DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard, and John Wall, I believe DeMarcus and Dwight should be in the league. I'm not as high on John as a lot of people are. I think John had some personal issues that I believe he's going to, unveil to the world down the line why he's not the John Wall we've seen at Kentucky. I believe Dwight and DeMarcus should be in the league, but I got to be honest with you guys. These guys are getting opportunities. The problem for them is not the talent. Clearly, they're not fitting and gelling in locker rooms. I'm sorry. I want both of these dudes to win, but they have been given opportunity, just like Jabari. You got opportunity. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. We see a lot of guys collect a bag that are nowhere near the talents of DeMarcus, Dwight, John Wall, or even Jabari Parker. Right now, they're still hanging around in the league because they're doing something right. They're politicking with the right people. Maybe they're doing dinner with the owner. Maybe they partying with the owners, whatever. Or maybe they're very into the details of the game. They're making sure guys are doing the right things. Udonis Haslem, we just seen him have a long 20-plus year career, right? He did the right things in Miami. He helped Pat Riley out. He helped make that culture what it is. I'm just saying, man, to crap on something that doesn't want you anymore, that's like, that ain't right. That don't got no legitimacy. He's right about what he said about the NBA. It would be nice to see more teams taking more serious. Like in the NFL, there are teams tanking, but they at least give it what they got for about 10 to 12 games, then tank. You know what I mean? Like, even the guys out there, if it's a bad roster, they're going to play very hard. In the NBA, there are no secrets. When you're tanking, you're tanking. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Jabari Parker's comments. And by the way, congratulations to Jabari. He just recently signed a deal with Barcelona, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. Barcelona is one of the leagues that I can watch a couple games, a couple YouTube videos, so hopefully he's able to make some noise in Spain. Dwyane Wade was recently a guest on the Squeak Show by Tony Parker. Let me put some respect on his name. Newly named first ballot Hall of Famer Tony Parker, alongside his classmate Dwyane Wade, did a podcast together. And Dwyane Wade had some interesting comments about the late, great Kobe Bryant alongside his Miami Heat Big Three that's over a decade old now. We getting old, y'all. D-Wade said, I watched Kobe Bryant grab the ball and celebrate his 5th championship, and I was like, LeBron, so what we going to do? That was our summer of free agency. They were dominating. Kobe was winning all the rings. And Dwyane Wade said he told LeBron, I was like, hold on, now he got 5 and we got 1. Like, no. That changed the league. According to Dwyane Wade, it was Kobe Bryant winning championship number 5. This is not about the players because NBA players always give it up to the late, great Kobe Bryant, even when he was here. This message is to media members on major networks. Oh, so Dwyane Wade is admitting that the Miami Heat Big Three, the most important era in basketball in the last 15 years, they got together because of Kobe. but y'all continue to let Kobe decline on y'all top 10 list, but 3 perennial Hall of Famers just admitted they got together based off what he was doing in the latter part of his prime. Oh! Now, maybe you want to say, Dwyane Wade, I think you capping, bruh, because there is a previous interview that's floating around on Twitter right now in which Dwyane Wade actually, in another interview, told Kevin Garnett the reason we got together was because of what y'all were doing in Boston. So maybe you think Dwyane Wade is capping. But look, I have come to deal with the fact that guys are going to cap in interviews because of the landscape of podcasting and how much money potentially is in it right now. People are going to lie. You want to know why? If you're Dwyane Wade, right? You agree to do Tony Parker's podcast. I don't know where that thing is at. Maybe I don't know where it's at. Actually, I think they're out of the country right now. I don't know. You agree to do Tony Parker's podcast. Well, you probably went out with him the night before or the night that y'all shot the podcast. I'm sure because you throwing Tony a lob. Tony's a rich guy. Tony probably paid for everything that night, probably made sure you drank well, made sure you ate well, all that great stuff, right? I'm just putting it out in the atmosphere. Let's call a spade a spade. You know, I ain't mad at you lying on a guy's podcast trying to give somebody some content that treated you well for the 3 days that you was in his neck of the woods. I ain't mad at that. Look, I don't like athlete-generated podcasts as it is. I already told y'all that. But I'm not mad at people getting on these podcasts lying. It's up to the talent, the interviewer, to hold people accountable, not the person lied. People gonna lie in interviews if you let them. If I realize I'm gonna get away with the lie, then oftentimes in life people gonna lie. That ain't nothing surprising to me. I just wanted to give it up to the late great 24 because his legacy, and it started right after he retired and has continued in his death, untimely. We have seen people just act like Kobe was just a really good shooting guard. They try to act like he was just a hair above Dwyane Wade and James Harden, but miles below Michael Jordan. And the Kobe Bryant that I saw was closer to Michael Jordan than he was far from him. That's what I remember. All right, if you really want to get me into a conversation, give me a couple of drinks of alcohol, and I'll be the guy to tell you straight up and down, I thought Kobe was better than Mike, but we really can't say that. I understand why we can't say that, but you don't really want to get me to talking. All right, shout out to Dwyane Wade for giving it up to 24 because a lot of people were making decisions based on what he was doing. I know that's somehow a forgettable piece in the NBA's history, but yes, guys were making decisions based off that Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, and Andrew Bynum era in L.A. I remember. I was there.
Winner takes a 3-2 lead in this opening round series. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
J.J. Redick recently walked back a comment that he agreed with on his podcast. Evan Turner was the guest, and Evan threw out the idea that the Memphis Grizzlies be moved from Memphis to Nashville. JJ said, I co-signed what Evan said, and that was a mistake on my part. And for all of my Memphis Grizzly fans, let me apologize, and I mean that sincerely. The Memphis Grizzlies have a great fan base. They are a great organization. Memphis has a soul and culture. The Grizzlies should never leave Memphis. I should not have co-signed that. I made a mistake. Yeah, I'm just not into when people walk comments back. I'm just not into it. You said what you said. You agree with it. Stand on it. Now, obviously, sometimes people make mistakes, genuine mistakes. Personally, if you've been following this platform for any significant amount of time, y'all know what I think about J.J. Redick. I think he's fantastic at color. I think he's a color commentary for everybody out there. I think J.J. Redick is fantastic on his podcast. I think he's incredible in certain spaces. I don't like him when he comes on First Take. I'm not a fan of his work on First Take because I don't think he's good for television. He's too busy trying to pull apart Stephen A. Smith and actually not make for good television. He's obviously too player-friendly to me. Like, if the way JJ said, his players never do anything wrong, right? Like, I just don't think that's a good position for fans that pay money to watch the product. In JJ's world, we would just bow down to players as if our money doesn't matter, as if our time doesn't matter. That's not how I see sports. I think there's a way to be critical of players and still appreciate their great talents. One way we're appreciating their great talents is by paying our money to go see their great talents, okay? I'm just putting it out in the atmosphere. What JJ said, or what he co-signed Evan Turner said, I thought was wrong out the gate. I saw that coming, and I was like, that ain't right one bit. Now, my guess is Memphis, as a fan base, got on J.J. Redick's ass and that's why he's walking his coming back. It appears to me, what I read from J.J. Redick is that he wants to be liked by as many people as possible. That's why he's always agreeing with the players. That's why. So I think his thing is to be liked by as many people as possible. I'm assuming a couple of Memphis fans did not like his comments, and they reached out to JJ on social platforms and got to him, and he had to go walk it back and apologize and all that good stuff. Let's really talk about what he said, though, or what Evan Turner said that JJ co-signed, and he did co-sign this on that podcast. Since I am from Memphis, I don't like the comment Evan made. I don't agree with it. I don't think that the Grizzlies should be moved from Memphis to Nashville. Let me tell y'all straight up and down. I go to a couple Grizzly games a year. I'm, again, born and raised as your boy. There are some things wrong with Memphis right now. I'll be the first to admit that a lot of cities got problems. Crime is a big issue. The irony in what the Grizzlies got is, as bad as crime is in Memphis, people still go out and support their product. So no, I do not think the Grizzlies should be moved out of Memphis. Again, there's a lot of things that Memphis needs to clean up. As a city, come on now, I can't tell y'all a lie. I'm not gonna then pull a JJ Redick on y'all. That's the truth of the matter. I love my hometown. But the Grizzlies ain't one of the things, though. It's crazy. Like I just, the last game I went to Game 5 Lakers Grizzlies this past season. Like that atmosphere in Memphis was crazy. Y'all know I'm a Lakers fan. So I went in my hometown as a Lakers fan, and everybody was talking noise to me. And it was fun. Like, it wasn't like I didn't feel pressure or nothing like that. I just thought it was fun. Like, again, people trolling me, they should have. The Grizzlies blew my Lakers out that game, right? So to think Memphis needs to be removed or without a basketball team, based on what I've seen, with everything that's went on with Ja Morant over the last couple years, coming off of the Zebo era, there's some things Memphis as a city's got to clean up. I don't think the Grizzlies losing that franchise is one of them. I think that fan base is incredible. They support that team, man. Again, they support that team heavy. It's a small to mid-market team. They go out and support it like it's a large market team. Come on, bro. I don't think that's right. I do not think that's right. And I'm happy JJ, decided to walk it back. Actually, I'm not even happy. Look, JJ walking and coming back because he felt pressure. I'm happy about that piece of the puzzle, that he felt some pressure about it. He walked his coming back. Nashville, by the way, is a city that I spent a significant amount of time in as well. Like, Nashville does deserve a team. Like, two things can be true. I think Nashville deserves a team, but I don't think Memphis deserves to lose their team. If anything, if you're listening to the commissioner, Adam Silver, discuss his future plans, I'm listening to a guy that's going to expand the league 4 teams more, maybe out of the country. We shall see. But if he decides to expand the league, I think a city like Nashville definitely should get a team. I don't think that means the Grizzlies should lose their team. Check them numbers out. The Grizzlies are not at the bottom of the pack in ticket sales right now. There's some other franchises that are at the bottom of that. It ain't Memphis right now. So get that Grizzlies fan base some credit, damn it. They doing their thing in Memphis. All right, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Hoops FERRO podcast. Y'all already know I'm always appreciative of the love and support that y'all been showing this ever so growing podcast. By the way, I'm looking at some numbers. The analytics are telling me that y'all enjoying the content. The watch time is up significantly. We're getting ready to kick off the NBA season in about a month's time. I cannot wait. Y'all going to really enjoy how I'm going to put everything together this year with the highlights. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. The Hoops FERRO podcast. I'm out.